Welcome to Regenerative Journey. One of my goals with this channel is to capture the specific practices taking place on the farm that help to rebuild soil health and build soil fertility. And I want to share that with everyone out there already farming or aspiring to be a farmer, to hope that you guys can implement some of these regenerative agriculture practices. So I hope you get something out of this video. Enjoy.
A lot of avocado varieties, this is a Haas, have a more robust year and a less robust year. So on the other side here, there's still a lot of avocados on this tree, but this was a less robust year for this tree, particularly last year. And now the flowers are coming out. So this year it will be a more robust year. And I can show you another avocado tree over here where it looks like on a robust year. So then this one is a robust year. You can see there's a lot of avocados on the tree and there's less flowers on the tree, and so this harvest for this tree will be significant and next year might be less. You're always trying to mitigate that by making sure that your soil has enough phosphorus at the time that's flowering, and boric acid supposedly helps fruit set. Boronic acid supposedly helps fruit set. So we sprayed all of our trees with boronic acid when they started flowering, and probably we got to spray again because it's been raining, but we'll see if that helps. That's what my uncle in Hawaii told me, so we're trying it out. We have a lot of avocado trees, and you were asking, why do you have so many avocado trees? The thing about avocados is it's a super good cash crop, but on the other side of it is how many things can sit on the tree for 4, 5, 6 months. So they release large Haas's in late December or early January, the size, like the larger sizes, like the 40s and above. But I'll still be picking these through the end of summer. So they sit on the tree, whereas if you have tomatoes, you got to use those tomatoes. You got to pick them and use them. They're ripe, they're going to fall off the plant, and they're going to rot. So the thing about a perennial that stays in the ground forever, and the fruit literally gives you half a year of stability on the tree, you know, you can't get better than that. Lemons don't quite have the same length of time, but they have a real good time, and so do oranges. And that gives the farmer flexibility if the markets are doing something weird, coronavirus is freaking everybody out, they can wait and sell their avocados later, or if there's a flood coming in from another country, they can wait and sell them later. In our case, we size pick. So we're only picking avocados that are above the 40 size. And then the 60s get all the energy from the tree. And so then the 60s turn to 40s, and then we can pick those. That's called size picking. And honestly, that's the best for us with the restaurant, because in a traditional situation where a packer's coming in, they're going to pick them all. They're going to pay you based on size and usability and da-da-da-da. I don't have to have any wastage. We can pick someone drives around once a week and just looks on the ground. The other thing is shelf stability once they're picked. You think of avocados as going bad quickly in your kitchen because you're getting a Haas avocado that's been beat up around and probably came from Chile. And by the time it gets to your grocery stores, you're 31 days out from when it was picked, but it takes a good 3 weeks, 4 weeks for avocados to start to ripen when you pick them hard like this on the tree. And all Haas avocados are picked hard. They don't ripen on the tree. And most avocados don't ripen on the tree. They will get old on the tree where sometimes they can start to crack their skin or something like that, but they don't ripen on the tree. And so if a tree was to start to drop its avocados, obviously we would come out and we would pick them because we wouldn't want them to get damaged. But in most cases, you have a lot of time, a lot of shelf life with the avocados. If you see, we don't have rows and rows and rows of avocados. There's no monoculture. There's avocados interspersed with lemons, avocados interspersed with coffee, avocados interspersed with pomegranates. And then we're growing the row crops and food crops between them in a food forest situation. So monocropping doesn't need to be a bunch of different trees. It can be, and it is here, but it also can be, let's say you only have
avocados. That's the only crop that you're selling, and you're making money, and that's good. You could still diversify by putting a bunch of pollinators and sage and different flowering plants for the bees in between, and give diversity for the bugs and diversity, because essentially the diversity, if you don't need diversity for your market, which I like to have, if the avocados all fall off like they did in 2018 because of the heat, we had lots of other crops to sell. But I would like that not only that diversity, but if you just want to create soil health and diversity in that way, by putting in a bunch of pollinator plants, you'll get higher pollination of your avocados, and it will help you get more avocados, and you'll have diversity. Diversity doesn't always just mean diversity of trees. It means not having acres and acres and acres of just one plant. So if some sort of plague or some sort of bug infestation or some sort of thing comes in, there's not only one plant for it to attack, and the ecosystem is stronger. Nature is never just an entire orchard of one thing. You may go to the redwood forest and all the trees are redwoods. Yes, so that would be like that. But then on the ground, there's lots of other stuff growing. So you could think of it that way. If you only want to grow tree tops of avocados or lemons, great, more power to you. That's working. That's the system that you're used to. Now let's plant other stuff underneath them so you have biodiversity, and your farm is healthier and stronger against the stuff that's out there. So this is a good example of how I want the farm to be in the future. So when we came, these avocado trees were already here and they were fairly big. So we cut them back some and we planted stuff in between them. And they didn't have any pollinators. It was just all Haas. So we also planted some pollinator, some bee type avocados. Not B as in bzz, B, but avocados come in A and B types, like a male and female, but they both produce fruit. We've just been trained to not eat the fruit from most of the B types. It's called a green skin. In Florida they eat them, but the rest of the country does not eat that kind of avocados. And then we planted coffee here in between. It's the winter time right now, so the coffee does look a little beat up, but it will be looking great here in a couple of weeks. And so this coffee is going to live in the shade of these avocado trees and also mulberry trees. And so now we have avocado tree, mulberry tree on the rows, and then we have these coffee plants in between. And so in the summertime, right here is very cool, and out there on the road it could be 20 degrees hotter. So once the whole farm's avocado trees grow up, or lemon trees, or whatever other trees that we planted grow up, there's going to be this microclimate that exists with the coffee and other food growing underneath. And so climate change shouldn't affect as much, because we're creating this cooler microclimate where it's all working together to keep it moister and denser.
If you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you want to hear more stories about regenerative agriculture, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any comments about this particular video, let me hear them below. I want to learn more from you about what you want to see and what you want to hear in the future. Thanks.